We'll call a regular meeting in the New Ulm City Council for October 4th, 2016, 5 p.m. to order. First item on the agenda is your consent agenda items.
I'll move it.
Second?
We got a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda items. Any discussion on any? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Item 2A, consider resolution adopting the final assessment rules for the 2015 surface reconstruction project. You have anything on that?
Thank you, Mr. President. This is the second of three improvement projects that were completed in summer of 2015. This was a surface reconstruction project constructed by the city personnel street department. Consisted of Front Street, 7 blocks on Front Street and First North, 5 blocks between Broadway and Garden. We assigned a uniform special benefit to residential properties of $1,485 per residential parcel and assigned some incremental benefit on the larger commercial properties on Front Street. I have not received any written correspondence with regard to the special assessments.
Okay, thank you. Public hearing, anybody like to be heard on the special assessments?
Maybe want to read the streets.
Well, we got Front Street from 12th North Street to 19th North. And number 2 is First North Street from Broadway to Garden Street. Seeing nobody?
Hearing none, I'll offer a motion to close the hearing, offering the resolution, waive the reading,
And adopting the final.
and adopting the surface reconstruction project payable over a 10-year period with a 3.95% simple interest charge. How
Second.
about that?
Second.
Is that better?
We got a motion and a second to offer the resolution, waive the reading as was described. Any comments? Seeing none. Finance Director, please call the roll.
Counselor Fisher?
Yes.
Counselor Schultz?
Yes.
Counselor Webster?
Yes.
President Schmitz?
Yes, motion carries. Item 3A, consider motion approving the issuance of a lawful gambling permit for the New Ulm Sertoma Club to conduct raffles gambling at the New Ulm Country Club, and that's for January 25th, 2017.
I'll offer the motion.
A second.
We got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Item 4A, consider motion approving the City of New Ulm Emergency Operation Plan. You have anything on that, Dave, you want to talk about? Or-
Mr. Council President, members of the council, I'm Dave Borkert. I'm the Emergency Management Director for the City of New Ulm. And everybody had a delivered copy of the emergency operation plan. As far as some of the updates, just to kind of give you a little bit of a background, the emergency management, our committee meets the third Thursday of every month at the fire station, 8th North and Broadway. We meet at 8:30 a.m. And as far as the emergency operation plan, the EOP, it's required to be updated. It's required by FEMA to be updated annually by county government. As far as city government, it's just highly recommended. It's best practice, so we certainly want to follow that recommendation. And then our EOP, it's reviewed by department heads and members of our committee after each normal scheduled meeting. So we break it down. We literally read every chapter and sentence of the EOP, and then we discuss things that need to be updated. All of you should have one of the first pages is the summary of the corrections, and then it's followed by the actual chapters with the corrections written in there. And then also just an administrative note, but if any of you would like us to update your actual EOP that you have, we'd be happy to do that. We could, just basically change the chapters around. But any questions regarding that EOP? I know that there was, I think, one as
I had
far as a
one.
title.
Yeah, I had one with in chapter 11 where it referred to Public Utility Director. It was changed to Public Utility
I saw that
Business
too.
Manager, and it should still be Director, so
Okay,
it shouldn't, that part shouldn't be changed.
all right.
Dave, how often are you going to have printed updates to this?
We try to do it annually is what we prefer to do.
Because there's
And then-
always going to be changes of people in here, and that's when you'll
Yes.
probably make changes, or where's the electronic version going to be kept? Or will it be kept on?
Well, we have we always have the CDs up at City Hall.
Okay.
Um,
Well, we all noticed that we don't have a finance director there, so I mean, that's,
Yeah,
you know.
it's just,
so-
there's
but
always
that's
gonna be
just,
updating.
That's just updated,
Sure.
so.
And we'd be happy to, provide a CD to anybody. I mean, it's real easy for us to.
Sure.
Is this something that we would keep out on our webpage? And be located there?
Excuse me?
If it would be kept out on our website?
Maybe, I don't know.
I would have some concerns with doing that. Most places kind of stay away from doing that simply because you're basically explaining how you would respond to every emergency.
Yeah, I could.
What they ask us to do, if FEMA would, if you want to review it, we could certainly take measures that everyone can certainly take a look at it. It's a public document. There's certain things in there, though, that we're maybe a little more sensitive with. And we'd have to go through, legal explaining why we wouldn't provide that.
I think the contact information, there's some probably private data found on that, personal emails, personal addresses, personal phone numbers. The public figures, the city hall numbers, the fire department, police, that's not a problem.
Right.
It's all the other people that are in other organizations that have provided that contact list information.
And I did notice that one of the changes is that the Red Cross will not give us their volunteer contacts, which is understandable.
Yeah.
And I think that's for those same reasons.
Right, right. I just had it, and maybe I should know this, but on the summary of the changes, top of the second page, chapter 14, it says, insert, State of Minnesota HSEM has ultimate jurisdiction at a hazardous material incident. HESEM will be contacted and alerted immediately by the state duty officer. Is that something new, or is that just a change in language, or?
They want the direction, like if you ever have something like with the hazardous material, like if you have anything with nuclear or anything like that, they assume control. It's not up to the county government or the city government. They ultimately take control of a situation like that. And when we're contacting the duty officer, there isn't really much we'd have to do on that other than we'd have to make sure we're calling a duty officer, and they would automatically notify HSEM. And in those situations, they do have control. We would be working together, but they ultimately, as far as their emergency operations center, it probably would look the same. It would be the same locations and everything, but they would
they're
be in
charge.
control of that.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay,
Does
I
that
just-
answer?
it does. I was just wondering if that was a change, or if that's something that's evolved over time, or,
That's always been that way.
Okay.
I think, like in this situation, we clarified it better.
okay. Okay, thank you, thank you. And just for my own, I know I'm a short timer here, and I probably won't even have to do that, but on those lists of contacts, if, for example, we would have to contact if for some reason we would have to contact somebody, is there any protocol as to whether we're supposed to call the city directory first, or supposed to call cell phones first, or is that just?
We provide the information. We leave it up to the professional, whether that's the counselor or if it's someone else in another role. If regarding anything with an emergency, I mean, I would ask that in a situation like that. I would be one of the first contacts, but there's like no directive. You can, if you feel you can have your question answered by contacting the fire chief or one of our assistants, like Christy Holes, might be something that simply she can answer. We would certainly encourage you to feel free to do that.
Okay, all right.
In any one given situation, the formation of who does what job changes you know, depends on how small or how big, you know, the actual activity might be. So the real contact would be the emergency management, be Dave Borkard, and then trickles down would be the best way to go about it, because the fire chief may not be actually doing fire chief stuff. We may have assigned him to do something else, and may not really know or have time.
That's correct. And then, you know, we follow the incident command structure. We're required to do that. All government agencies are. So like in a situation like if, you know, I'd ask that I'd be one of the first points of contact. You know, it might be a situation where it's like, you know, this is a regional situation. This is something that likely the incident commander would be the county emergency management director. And that's something that, you know, we would be discussing very early on. All of them are, you know, hopefully we're all sitting in the same room. We're certainly notified. But, you know, it really depends on the event and how far-reaching it is.
Right. Right.
And you may have already answered this, Dave, but when we approve this tonight, who, other than city folks, who else gets a copy of this? And is this get shared with the county? Is it shared with?
It's shared with the county emergency management director. So they get one copy. If, you know, if they want more, like with CDs and stuff, we certainly provide that for them.
Okay.
But they automatically get one ourselves. We don't give it to the state simply because they don't want it unless they contact us.
Okay.
But we would certainly, if for some reason whatever event would happen, if they'd ask for a copy, we'd be happy to do that.
There's a lot of really good work in here. This certainly takes a lot of time putting something like this together. So I certainly have my appreciation to you and your committee for putting this together and keeping it current.
Thank you.
I just wanted to make one more comment. You know, we've all been to a lot of National League of Cities events. And I went to New Orleans not too long after Hurricane Katrina. So when I was looking at the public evaluation checklist and noticed make arrangements for your pet, or, you know, that was one of the big problems that they had, where they were trying to get people out and people hadn't figured out, you know, what to do with their dogs and cats, and they didn't. So anyway, you know, if there's an emergency, make sure you've got all your.
And that is something we're directed to follow through on, and we do have, you know, part of our committee, one of the individuals is Corporal Keith Anderson. And
Right.
he also is our animal control officer.
Right.
And we are factoring that in, because some people won't leave without their pets. We're
Right.
making arrangements certainly to do that. And, you know, just finding something reasonable
Right,
with the resources available.
right.
Yeah.
Good. And again, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. A lot of work.
Thank you. No more questions?
No?
I'll offer a motion to approve the emergency operation plan.
Second?
We got a motion and a second to approve the operation plan. Any more discussion? Seeing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Item 4B, consider a resolution accepting donations to the memorials to the New Ulm Public Library.
I'll offer that resolution.
Second.
We got a motion and a second to offer resolution. Waive reading. Any more discussion?
The people are very very generous to the library. Just really thankful.
Any more discussion? Seeing none. Finance Director, please call the roll.
Counselor Fisher?
Yes.
Counselor Schultz?
Yes.
Counselor Webster?
Yes.
President Schmitz?
Yes, motion carries. Item 4C, consider motion to approve Spartan's ERV contract change, order number 2 for the aerial truck as specified in amount of $1,301.94. And that's for the new fire truck, a change, I take it, so.
And what's new about this?
Paul?
Paul Mako, Fire Chief, President Schmitz, counselors. If you look at the sheet, the change order, the big item is a shelf that's going to be built over the doghouse, which goes in between the two rear-facing jump seats in the cab. It's to make room for portable radios.
Okay.
And then the two smaller ones are, we have to reprogram the electronics in there to get the lights to flash when we want to go in reverse. And then the final one is the reflective stripe. That's to match the existing truck we have from Spartan. So, just so they match.
So this is the second or third change order, isn't it, that we've seen? So
Yes.
We about done with those?
Well, we have final inspection next Monday,
Okay.
so hopefully there's no more changes.
So potentially that truck could be here in October sometime?
Good chance next week. If the final inspection goes well, it could be here next week.
And the lettering shadow will be blue and not black.
Correct.
Right.
No charge.
I'll move the motion.
Second.
We got a motion and a second approving the change order. Any more discussion?
Well, thank you for,
Thank you.
making sure it's right.
Seeing none? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Item 4D, consider motion approving the reassessment of the 2007 special assessments on Lot 1 and Lot 14, Block 4, Dakota West Edition, and set a date for public hearing for Tuesday, November 1st, 2016 at 5 p.m.
I'll move it.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Well, I think each time something is sold, we have to do this, so
Right.
I'm glad I'm glad people are taking advantage of that lovely area.
Okay, no more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Item 4E, consider a motion approving the reassessment of the 2005 special assessments on Lot 10 and Lot 13, Block 1, Lot 1, Block 2, Lakeside Village Edition, and set a date for public hearing for Tuesday, November 1st, 2016 at 5 p.m.
So moved.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Any discussion? I guess that's the same.
Same thing.
I just have,
Yes?
have one question on it. It has an interest rate of 5.5%, simple interest rate on that repayment of the assessments. That's different than the interest rate that was on the assessments that we're proposing, correct? That was at 3.95?
Correct.
And
It's based on the bond sale at the time that the construction was performed.
okay,
And so, we add up a maximum of 2% to come up with an even number, 3.25 instead of 3.28. So we adjust that, but it can never be more than 2% above what the bond rate interest was.
Mr. President, those assessments were actually set, those percentages were set by the city council as a result of that bond issue. I assume you could change it if you wanted to, but we're just sticking with the same percentage unless told differently.
okay.
Yeah, and I would just echo that we would recommend that it stay the same because
Because all the others have been that way.
everybody else that
Right.
is paying that.
Makes sense.
Any more discussion? Seeing none? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Item 4F, consider a motion to receive a petition to construct roadway improvements on the alley in Block 115 north of Center Street and set a date for public hearing for Tuesday, November 1st, 2016 at 5 p.m.
I'll offer the motion.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Any more discussion on it? Seeing none? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, no. Motion carries. Item 4G, consider motion to receive a petition to construct roadway improvements on alley in the block of 119 south of Center Street and set a date for public hearing for Tuesday, November 1st, 2016.
I'll move
at
that.
5 p.m.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing
So
none?
we had the 64% of alley
Yep.
on both of them, so,
Right.
so more than our requirement by a lot.
And then we've got a third one.
No more discussion?
No.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, no. Motion carries. Item 4H, consider a motion to receive a petition to construct a roadway improvements on alley in the block 154 south of Center Street and set a date for public hearing for Tuesday, November 1st, 2016 at 5 p.m.
So moved.
Second.
We get a motion and a second. Any more discussion?
Why did they all three just drop, or did the city engineer hold them back?
Mr.
Or?
President, they all came in within about 2 weeks of each other, and actually I have one more that I didn't have time to get ready for this
All
meeting.
right.
This one's got
So
52%.
Don't miss November 1st. It'll be fun.
Big day for a public hearing.
So November 1st is going to be a long meeting.
All right. There you go.
All right. No more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Item 4I, consider setting a public hearing for noise variance to the city code 8.08 noise restriction as requested by Dan Horner. Pro Performance Auto Start, 117 and a half North Broadway, Newell, Minnesota.
And the public hearing would be at our next meeting.
Correct.
Correct.
Okay, and have notices will go out, and I know we've already had some indication of this issue in the paper, so I'll offer that motion that we set up the public hearing for our next meeting.
Second.
We got a motion and a second to set the public hearing for October 18th. Any more discussion?
Will we have information available at that time on who the complaints and where they're coming from, and will we have that available to us?
I think we have an
I
option.
think we have that.
All right, please step up to the mic. Name and address for the record, please.
Council President, members of the council, Officer Eric Barrow of the New Ulm Police Department. In regards to this incident from April 2016 to September 2016, we've had 14 calls for service at that address for noise complaints. The complaints are in regards to the bass that's echoing through that neighborhood.
From how many individuals? Do you have that information?
I don't know how many individuals.
Can you
there have
find that
been
out?
multiple. Yep, we can get
And
a
if it's
detailed
one
list of
person
it.
versus 14, to me, that's the difference.
Yep, we could
Okay.
get that.
If you could have that for our next meeting, that'd be great. Thank you.
Okay. Sounds good.
Good, good,
Thank
good.
you.
All right, thank you.
And just remind me, what's the zoning on this street? Well, I'd like to know that when we get our,
Yeah.
I can't, if it's B3 or B2 or it's not I,
General business.
general business, okay. Well, like I said, I'm assuming that'll be as a part of
We
our.
can have all that for our next meeting
Yep.
then and
Right.
Yep.
put the package together. Okay. All right, any more discussion? Seeing none? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Item 5A, consider acceptance of a list of claims paid and approve a list of claims to be paid. Claims paid in the amount of $6,585,106.29, and claims to be paid in the amount of $1,015,895.14.
I'll move it.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Good
With
work.
no more business, meeting adjourned.
Work.